Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back to Interior Expat. So today is International Day of Yoga. It's the 5th year and the United Nations declared it International Yoga Day. Today, yoga events are happening all over the world. In India, the Prime Minister led a practice with over 30,000 people attending. Here in San Miguel de Allende, we are doing some events as well. There'll be one tonight. I'm going to put a little flyer notification there for you if you want to join. But it's going to be a practice that's shared by different teachers in the community, and it's from 7 to 9 p.m. and it's free. So because it's Yoga Day, I kind of wanted to share with you my story about coming to yoga. I think it probably is very common for people to come to yoga looking for exercise and fitness as the goal. And I was that way as well. When I started yoga 7 years ago, I had lost my husband. And so I really was lost. I was mourning. I was looking for what to do with myself. I really had no idea where to begin. My daughter and I started doing a yoga practice together in a small place in Enumclaw. The studio wasn't very big. The instructor wasn't very good. I really had no idea what yoga was about. I didn't know what any of the poses were called. I had little flexibility. I had had surgery on my shoulder. And because of my husband's illness, I wasn't able to focus on my rehabilitation and my physical therapy. So I have very limited mobility in my shoulders and in my arms. But that didn't stop me. I started doing yoga practice at a different studio, and there it kind of began to evolve for me, not just being a physical practice, but also a mental one. And teachers were really inspiring, and it kept me coming back to yoga. Every time I went to the mat, I would discover and find something new about myself. And I think that's the main point of yoga. It lets you find you. It lets you reconnect to yourself. It lets you find a sense of purpose and peace. And unity with others. And that's kind of the power of yoga. That actually is the meaning of the word yoga, is unity. So if that's something you're looking for, if you're looking to find purpose, a sense of self, a sense of centeredness, peace and grace, those are all elements that happen over time with yoga. So in this video today, I'm going to introduce you to a yoga instructor that I love. She's someone that teaches at Life Path, and she's going to talk about how she came to yoga and how it changed her life. And she's been practicing for over 18 years. Like I said, she is a teacher. She does an international teacher training. She also does retreats in Cancun, and these are all practices that have evolved for her over time. And every day, just like anyone else that practices yoga, you become more centered. You start to walk that journey in yoga. So it really is a gift to yourself, and I encourage you to look into it if it's something you've considered before. The thing that you need to know about yoga is it takes all kinds of people. You don't have to be flexible, you don't have to be athletic, you don't have to meditate, you don't even have to have a mat. Lots of times studios have mats that you can just grab and use. So it really is something that was life-changing for me, and it still is life-changing for me. So I'm going to be showing you also video later today of what San Miguel is doing. It is an evening practice. It's from 7 to 9 tonight, and I'm going to do some recording of that as well. So I hope you enjoy the video, and namaste. Why don't you introduce yourself and kind of give us just a bit about your background and how you got started.
Okay. My name's Anisha Fisher, and I started practicing 18 years ago when I was pregnant with my daughter, 19 years now. And I sought it mostly for physical relief. I was having back pain and all the complaints of pregnancy, and I heard that it would help with birth, so I started asana practice with prenatal yoga, and I did that for a few years, and really got into it maybe 8 years later, when I had gone through some pretty big trauma in life and lost my sister and lost my religion and lost my dad, and it was a really tough time. And I again had some physical pain that took me to yoga, but I was working with a yoga therapist in private sessions, and a lot of the work we did was just kind of soothing me and giving me some self-care, and I realized there was so much more to it. And then she would bring in these ideas from yoga philosophy that resonated with me, that related to the metaphysical tradition I grew up with, that I had left behind, but in a new way. And it was really reassuring to feel like I was getting some of that back in a whole new way of thinking and new language. And
so this came about kind of 8 years into your practice?
Yeah, because I had just dabbled in it for the first about 8 years, and when I just desperately needed something, it was my lifeline, really.
So had it been there before and you just hadn't taken it in, or your practice changed?
I think because I went to some new teachers who were doing a lot more than just the physical asana practice. They would bring in philosophy at the beginning of class, have a little talk, and have that integrated into the practice, which is what I try to do myself, so that when I was in class, it didn't feel like I was just doing this physical practice.
Right. It completely changed what yoga was about for you.
Yeah. And it was so healing to have not just my body tended to, but my heart and my mind.
And so how did that kind of awakening change your life, or did it?
Yes. I think gradually, in very significant ways. At first it was just, like I said, a lifeline. It was something that kept me going during this time of healing. And then I started, how did it happen?
It's a little bit to go back.
Yeah.
This was how many years ago when this change started to happen for you?
Around 2005, 2006.
Okay.
So it was like coming home to myself and to my body, and that was a big thing for me, because I was brought up in a metaphysical, puritanical religion, and it had a beautiful metaphysical teaching, but it was all about, living in spirit and ignoring the body, basically.
Interesting.
And so coming into yoga and connecting with my body was life-changing in huge ways. And then reconnecting with the spiritual path through yoga was also something I really valued always, and having lost that, leaving that religion, to find it again in a different way that was more integrated. It wasn't this separate thing, mind over matter. It was mind integrated with matter.
Did it make more sense to you then, when it connected to both?
Yes.
Did it seem more truthful?
Yes.
More full?
Because it wasn't taking away my connection to this very significant part of me.
Yeah.
So that was that. The implications of that have rippled out in so many directions in my life.
So last night, San Miguel had an amazing event in town to honor yoga, International Day of Yoga. Many teachers got together and organized the event and also led the event. It was really incredible. I'm so glad I joined. I found out afterwards that this is the 5th year that they've done such an event. The venue was particularly perfect because it had these huge walls of windows, and there was a complete thunder and lightning storm going on the entire time. So as they did the practice, behind them you could just see bolts of lightning going off. Rain was pouring down, so the sound of rain was happening. Even some rain was leaking in on the floor, and it was really impressive. I wanted to give a shout out to all the instructors who organized the event and also did the practice with us. They did chanting and music and singing bowls, and each of the teachers really put their best foot forward. It was amazing. I'm so glad that I was able to participate. Unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties with filming, so I really wasn't able to get any footage of the practice itself, but that's okay. I invite anyone who wants to join next year to join. It was really worth my time. So I hope this has been a great introduction to you about the practice of yoga. It really does mean a lot to me, and I know people are coming to yoga in droves because it is such a powerful practice and something to incorporate into your life that really can make your life better and make life more meaningful. So with that said, namaste. Hasta luego.